It's that time again, yes, a new one. They bout to make a bunch of resolutions, but tell me, is that really a solution? If you ain't about to change the things you're doing, well, okay, you can have it your way. It's for me and mine, we'll take the time, stop what we're doing and pray. We heard the word, we seek him first and what he got to say. We make the plans and seek the man, ain't got no time to play. Hey, said I'm in it to win it. See, I know this thing a marathon when they trying to sprint it. And if you got something to say, well, if you want, you can get it. Taking Tara to the nations, I'll be back in a minute. And we this about to be my year, this about to be my year, this my year, this about to be my year, this about to be my year, my year, my year. I already made that clear, ain't gotta have no fear. It's my year, it's about to be my year, it's about to be my year, my year, my year.
Hey y'all, hey, y'all. I am Ebony J, the host of Minding Your Business Mondays, where we inform, we motivate, and we celebrate entrepreneurs and creatives. Today, we have a fire interview, a very special guest, Max. Oh, I'm messing up your name already. Slice Maximus. See, it's been a day, y'all. Y'all gotta excuse me. It's been a crazy day, y'all. But welcome, Slice Maximus. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm amazing. I can't complain. How's your mental?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I love it. Thank you for coming on. I need you to tell the people what is it that you do, like what you got going on, what you do.
Okay, so I'm actually a creator, along with a few other people, the Talk Heavy podcast, which has been around for a few years now, but it's growing at an exponentially rate. And then also, I'm the president of Liberty Pop Warner Youth Sports in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so first let's get into this podcast because I know what it's like and what it's about, but some of my viewers may not. What is that podcast about? Like, what are we talking about on that podcast?
Okay, so what the podcast is, it's basically a podcast where we deal with a lot of topics that people are afraid to touch. So we're in a genre of our own called forbidden comedy, and in the midst of that, we answer relationship topics, and it's usually topics that a lot of people is kind of on the edge. And we created a podcast where we push cancel culture, and we use comedy pretty much to bring people closer together.
Okay. So now is this a podcast for everybody? Is it like, would you say it's for the mature crowd, or how would you say it?
Well, I would say it's a podcast that's not for the very sensitive. You got to have very tough skin. If you're a host on our podcast, we spend lots of hours kind of telling jokes on each other and a lot of teasing and inappropriate jokes. But in the process, every conversation that we have has a deeper meaning than trying to force the conversation that many don't talk about. So
I love it.
yeah, so if you see it, it depends on your personality. Some people are going to hear the vulgar language and feel as though like, oh, I don't understand why they're talking that way, and I'm offended, and that's okay for some people. And other people is going to hear it and just be in love with it because they're into sometimes the ratchet conversation. But for us, if you really dive deep into our podcast, each topic is so deep and it unravels a lot of like trauma and different things that we have going on in our community.
For sure. It's first of all, y'all, it is really dope. Like, I don't know, he's been like real calm and like interviewish, but the podcast is super dope.
Oh yeah, they watch the podcast. I'm a lot wilder on the podcast. We're all wilder. You know, we have fun. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's for some special audience, and I'm glad you enjoy it, and so many people do.
Yes. So make sure y'all tune in. When do it air?
Okay, so we air live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. It's on the Devin Wade Network. It's called the Talk Heavy Podcast, though.
Okay. Now let's get into this other part of you. So we got the podcast, right?
Right.
Then we got the Liberty Pop Warner. What is that about?
Okay, so years ago, back in 2006, a friend of mine and we started a youth organization called the Juniata Thundercats. It was youth football and cheerleading, and it was a mentorship program at first. And from that, doing years of just coaching and mentoring kids and different things of that under the nonprofit, I actually recently became the president of Pop Warner, which is basically the charter for all the for a large portion of the Philadelphia youth football teams and cheer.
Nice. That's dope. That's super dope. How did you get involved in that? Like, what made you do that?
Just coming out of college. Well, to be honest, coming out of college, I was hanging in the streets. I didn't have a job yet. I think I was going through a breakup, and somebody was just trying to get me out the slumps. And they basically told me, come on, help me out. And once I got out there working with the kids, I just fell in love with it.
Nice, nice. Now, did you have any background in football or?
Nope, I play basketball.
Oh, look at
but
there.
but helping kids, you know what I mean, is the overall mission. So I happen to learn football over time. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. That's dope. Sometimes our mission would definitely have us learning things that we probably would never thought about learning and put us in a position to really help someone,
Yeah.
in more ways than one. So that's dope. Thank you for that because I'm always for like grateful for those who do stuff with the youth and like the elderly. Like they always have a soft spot in my heart. So that's really dope. I appreciate that.
Yeah, coming from communities where we come from, a lot of times, we all lack father figures or just needed those mentors. Me being included. I mean, I didn't lack a father figure at the time, but we still needed a village to raise a child. So, someone looked out for me when I was young in a lot of different ways, or I wouldn't have been successful. And so it kind of it becomes in your nature if you're not selfish to give back.
For sure, for sure. So since we're on that, and you really answered the question without answering the question, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway. How do you feel about giving back?
I think it's weird because I've been doing it for so long. I think it's in certain people. I think some people give back for the wrong reasons, for the accolades or for the publicity. I mean, that's why like you'll see people feed the homeless and whip their phones out for Instagram as soon as they can because they're doing it for the wrong cause. But I just think when you have a certain character, you understand the importance of giving back because none of us get to nowhere without the help of someone else. So, it's just I guess it's in me from people helping me in the past and just in the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So I appreciate you for doing that because everyone don't understand giving back. Everyone don't know that they really should give back. And then, of course, like you said, some people are just doing it all for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Me personally, giving back has just always been in me from elementary. Giving back and just helping people. That's always been in me, and that's part of the reason why I started the podcast. Okay, so
Which is dope, and you got to teach me some of this because we do our podcast like pre-recorded a lot of times. So, us using this StreamYard and different things of that nature is very very interesting.
Yeah, so we're pre-recording. So this is pre-recorded. I started off doing like live, but then technical difficulties will happen, and I don't care because we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna work it out. But it was a little too much.
Yeah, I get
but
it.
I am going to start back doing like maybe once a month having a live podcast because I really love the live. I love interacting with the people live.
Yeah, and we did live shows with Talk Heavy Podcast. Like we had a sold out show at Punchline in Philadelphia when we did Talk Heavy Live, which that was a shock. We were pretty shocked because we knew people was into the show, but we didn't expect to sell out and have the line.
That's dope.
So yeah, it was dope. It was at that point when you have a whole crowd shouting your intros with you and different things of that nature. We was like, oh, this is
oh
different.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, this is different. So
when y'all gonna have another one? Because I need to be there. I need to be at the live one. So
you gotta come to a live show, man. We treat you right. It was so it was free drinks for everybody. Everybody came, had a good time. It was hot as hell because we did an outdoor event. So next time it'll be indoor. Make sure we got some AC if we do it.
Look, hot and with the liquor.
Yeah, and for the line to be around the corner and 90-something degree weather, man, I appreciate
it. That's dope. That's super dope. That's big.
Yeah, and we interact with anybody who leaves a comment, and it could be hundreds or thousands or whatever. We respond to every single person because we tell everybody you could be watching Power or any other BMF or any of them other shows that 50 Cent got, but you make your hour out your week to always be with us every week. So that means a lot to myself, GB, Dev, and Monica.
Okay, so it's Four of y'all?
It's four hosts on the show at this point.
Okay.
It started with two. It was me and GB at first, and we grew up since Pampers. Our parents were best friends, and we both
Oh,
coached football and won national championships. And it started out with us just coming on talking about youth sports at first and a little bit of relationship stuff, and then from somewhere it morphed into this. People send questions in by the dozens, by the hundreds, and us in our own unique way try to help people with relationship issues.
yeah. Some of y'all questions be little. They be wild, y'all. I'm like,
Yo,
woo, that's a good one.
so I had somebody tell me like, man, y'all writing those questions, y'all making them up. So I had to go into the inbox, Instagram, and just show them the thousands and thousands of people that write in each week. It's great. It's great that people even want to hear our opinion.
No, for sure, for sure. And it's amazing, like when you could talk about the stuff that people want to talk about, but maybe they too afraid to talk about or don't know how to talk about. And I like that y'all bring comedy into real life stuff,
Yeah,
because this world like real sensitive
it's
nowadays.
real sensitive, and we talk so some weird things I wanted to talk about when we talked about giving back. So the irony of giving back. It was an 8-year-old kid who I coached years and years and years ago. He's about 21 now, but he was the one who introduced me to Dev, um, who was the studio with the catalyst for us, where we record our podcast. So you'd be surprised. You'll never think a 7, 8-year-old kid is going to be the one to be the connection for you 15, 20 years down the line. But that's why
Amazing.
it's good that you always give back and be kind to people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very important. I tell people all the time, like it's been people that I've came across at one point in my life and years later came across them again and they remember me and I remember them and they may not have been in the best situation, but I treated them like they were human, so with respect and dignity. And they will remind like, yeah, I remember,
That's right.
you like that.
You,
And I'm like, I'm so thankful that naturally I'm loving, I'm caring, I'm generous because I can't imagine, running into someone that you may have been mean to before.
yeah.
And now it's like you grown, you matured, or maybe not have matured, but this world crazy. You never know.
Yeah, I got a friend. He's one of my best friend. He worked as the director of finances at UPenn, and he always say, you treat the janitor with the same respect as you treat the CEO, and so that
Yeah,
always stuck out to me. So, you know what I mean. When you live like that, you always get your blessings.
for sure, for sure. What would you say? What are like one or two trials that you had to, or trauma that you had to overcome that made you into the person that you are today?
I grew up in Hunting Park area, and so when I was young, I was on a very high drug block, which was Jerome Street, block not far from 1 block over from Broad and Hunting Park. And I think before, I mean, I know the killings is on an all-time high rate, but at that point in time, I think I lost my first friend to murder. Probably was 12
Mm,
years old, and they left him in the dumpster in the middle of
mm,
the park. And then it was just a cycle. It was like stepfather, uncle, all the friends. Then when you got the drug, so just that it was a certain level of mental trauma in that just understanding like you become a different person when you lose so many people at a young age. So I
yeah,
feel for what the kids are going through now because even though even though they carry it like this big thing and they drilling and they keep the score and everybody's so tough, the mental trauma that they had on me and I'm sure it has on them when they're not acting on Instagram, how
hmm
tough they are is very difficult to overcome. So it just took having it took one having people around you and also being a leader, um having good friends that's just going to always keep you out of the drama. And then it was also the older drug dealers and stuff who seen I had potential and wouldn't let me get too much in the wrong direction. It's not for you, you know what I mean, play your sports or go to
that's
school,
dope.
you know what I mean. And a lot of times I don't think we give credit to the people who are out there making the mistakes who give back and help out. So you know
For sure. Shout out to those people.
yeah.
Because a lot of times it's really based on like circumstances. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I can definitely understand how some people make the decisions that they make when
Mm-hmm.
you're faced with some of the things that they are faced with, and then when society is pretty much built on making sure that you fail, and then it's just a lot to go into, and people don't really
Mm-hmm.
think about that part. They just see, oh, they selling drugs, oh, they killing, oh, they
Right.
doing this, but what did they have to witness that led them that way? You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times I think as black men we don't give credit to the moms and the grandmoms. I mean, all everybody love their moms, but for what we go through as black men, the black woman hold us down. So we always talk about the attitudes that the black woman have, and this tough exterior a lot of times, but I understand that in order for the black woman to survive with so much on us being attacked, they had to build this tough exterior, and they had to do things to make themselves stronger to hold it down while we're being attacked. And so you
Yeah.
have those moms and them grandmoms that kind of like always turned you back in the right direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's hard on anyone, and me being a mother, it's hard to one see your child suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and then everyone don't go the right way. I guess. I mean, it's still the part of their story, so I guess technically it would still be the right way,
Mm-hmm.
but go down the straight and narrow path. It's hard for someone to be like that, and then for the ones who don't give up on their children, who steady fighting, right, wrong, and still trying to redirect them, like that's tough. That's tough. I think men and women, especially black men and women, faced a lot of trauma, was put, against each other off bails.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everyone has their mental health that is not the greatest, and as time go by and trauma go on, and no one taught them how to handle
Mm-hmm.
the trauma, how to heal from the trauma. So it's just a generation on generation, being
It,
passed down.
it's big time, and you'd be surprised how one person or just one statement could just gear your life into a different direction. So it was my senior year of high school, and I don't think I had any plan. Was it my junior year? It might have been my junior year of high school, but it was late, and I don't think I had any plan for life at that time. And it was just me going to a friend's house, and his aunt just clearly asking, "So what college are you going to?" And
Mm.
that one question made me think, like, shit, I ain't even think about college yet. You know what I mean? So it kind of made me say, I don't know yet. And then it just led me on the path. Like, let me start looking into what college. Shout out Dell State. I'm glad I picked that for undergrad.
Whoop,
Best college
whoop,
out here. You know what I mean? But I
whoop,
did
whoop.
go. Went on to get my master's at IUP as well. So all that come from just a simple question. And sometimes just putting that in a kid's mind could just change the direction of their whole life.
All right, one moment. Okay.
Nigga, do it. Yeah, I understand. Don't let it drive you crazy.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to handle some things.
Ain't nothing wrong there. I got a daughter.
So, how do you deal with your stress?
Um, the crazy thing is, people say I walk around like nothing ever bothers me, and I don't know because I deal with so much stress. Like the way my brain works, like I probably think about 100 different things all at the same time, and it can be overwhelming. I don't smoke, I don't drink really, so where everybody else has some kind of vice, I guess, to relieve stress, I don't know. I'm not in and I just kind of I guess I'm just thankful for a lot of things. I just start looking at the things that I'm appreciative for, and most of it is good health. You know what I'm saying? And with
Yes.
that, I don't know. I don't get rattled too much. I understand that like that it's the process. I try to trust it the best I can, and I just go with the flow. But I don't know. That's a good question. I never thought about it. I don't know how I deal with it, but I'm always this temperament for the well, except on the show. When I'm with my friends and we acting crazy on the show, I'm very hyperactive. I'm a hyper person at times, but for the most part, I'm like this. You know what I mean? So I'm even keel, and I'm pretty level headed most of the time. So it kind of de-escalate, and I try to keep myself around positive energy. The
That
energy,
makes sense.
yeah, the energy you keep. So a lot of times you just remove yourself from it without
Mhm.
no beef. You know what I'm saying? You just certain people you got to know their energy is not good for you. Just you kind of just keep yourself around positive energy or a lot of laughter, a lot of things like that, and that helps to decrease the stress.
That's amazing. Like I understand that whole having 20 thoughts at one time, and I get it. Like I just probably like over the past few years learned to like how to calm my brain down and like look, cool it, woosah.
Woosah.
Yeah, so I learned like so manifesting or some words of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Those usually helps. Music helps for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big music guy too. I don't know. I guess that play a part in my stress reliever. I play in the car. I can't sing a lick, but I'll sing whatever when I'm in the car by myself.
Oh, I'm singing with people. Can't sing a lick, but I'm in. Don't let my song come on.
Nobody.
Like, girl, shut up.
Like really shy. Everybody would be like, "No, you're not." But like karaoke, all that, I'm kind of unless it's a whole crowd of people that even then I probably
even then, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
I feel you.
I don't know how I do what I do for the show. I just think because it's just the camera. I'm not as shy from a camera. It's just when people in the room. I guess I'm a little more reserved.
I understand that. I actually understand because I tell people I'm like I'm shy.
I'm not good at. Like I'm probably cocky with the stuff I'm good at, but singing, dancing, any of that stuff, nah. I ain't embarrassing myself.
I feel you. I tell people all the time like I'm shy. They're like, "Girl, no, you're not." I'm like, "No, I really am shy." Like it comes out here and there. If you pay attention enough, you might catch it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just like something to come over, like, and it just portrays that I'm not shy, but I'm really shy.
So, what motivated you to start doing your pod?
One wanted to help entrepreneurs and just like get people business out there more. Wanted to dive a little bit deeper. Wanted to like kind of get in people business a little more. So like know the business part, but to also see and help people like with the mental part. Right. And the words of like trying to be an entrepreneur and how tough it is, and it's we don't always get that insight. We always get, oh, quit your 9 to 5, and this is great, and work out like this. And that don't work out like that for everybody.
People tell you do anything with no plan. Like you just gotta chase your heart. No, don't just chase your heart without thinking it out. And
it works for some people, and I get it because I'm an impulsive. Like if I think about it, I just do it. And I learned that, girl, you gonna have to slow that down.
Everybody don't get to the finish line the same way. You know what I'm saying? I think that happens a lot when they say, well, look how these people made it. You got to do it this way to get there. And everybody, it's too many variables in there to think that you're going to have the same results doing
it. You don't even know what all they had to do.
You don't.
Like, you just know a little bit. Like, we'll take like Steve Harvey instance. Like, he'll tell you just jump. But he'll also be like, now if you don't have to, don't do it, Go with a plan, because it's a lot of variables that happens in between those 3 years of him being homeless. Like he tell you some of the stuff, but you don't really know like the depth of what he went through.
And with anything with hard work, they tell you hard work and preparation and with all of that, you can be working the hardest, you can put all the preparation. It still take a little bit of luck. I'm not just saying businesses, I'm talking about with creators. Even with our situation, like I say, it was as a 7 or 8 year old kid who ended up being introduced us to Dev, Devin Wade from the Devin Wade Network. But he used to be on on which is now probably the #1 podcast, urban podcast in the area. It was $1 million worth of game. And so when we got to the studio that week, he had just had a disagreement over, I guess, contractual issues, and they kind of went their separate ways. And we just happened to walk in the room that week, and it was available slot, and it was just like surprised how timing and luck kicked in, because it could have been, we're booked, or so we end up taking the old $1 million worth of game studio, which most people might not know, and we just changed it around in Heavy's room, and so I mean it must be lucky. Some good shows is coming out of there. So
okay, look, what is meant to be is meant to be. So it's definitely, it definitely takes some luck, some blessings being tossed in there. But because y'all was in the right place at the right time, you know what I'm saying, it worked out for you.
And some hard work. We went
and your hard work, like, because you didn't just get it because just we want to be lucky. Like, you've been putting in work, and God was like, you know what?
I'm
I
a
got
black.
something for you. It's already lined up, but you had to put in that work. So
Yeah,
don't y'all think that y'all can't put in the hard work and y'all just gonna be like, there we
yeah.
go.
COVID and everything. The whole world was on pause, and we was still going out each week, getting with crowds, risking it, sanitizing everything. At that point, we drinking the sanitizer. We don't know what nobody knew what COVID was. We just try. We like, man, we risking our lives for this body.
We risking our lives for this. I'm gonna die for this.
Yeah, we died for this. Um, so yeah, it took hard work, but like I said, a lot of luck and is involved as well. So, but I do tell everybody, man, you only live one life. You might as well have fun with it. Chase your dreams. I mean, I like I said, I had kids. I got a kid to feed too. I got step kids. I got so you got responsibilities, but you still don't want to work for 40, 50, 60 years and just check. That's just not a good life.
You got to find the balance. You got to find something that will give you a strong why of why you have to succeed, why you got to go after that. And when your why is strong, I think that as long as you don't give up, you can do it. Like, of course, it's gonna come with its own little trials and tribulations, depending on your situation. You might lose some people, you might gain some people, but one thing about it is your life is yours to live. Like at the end of the day, you are only responsible for your life.
Yeah,
And you have a purpose too. So when you figure out your purpose, it could be to make somebody laugh. It could be the gateway to connect people. You may be the connector of everybody. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Once you tie yourself to your purpose, it's like you can't fail, and the trials, the tribulations, the failures, it's all for your story, your
yeah.
purpose. But you gotta live for you.
Yeah, you got to enjoy the process. And I know people say it all the time, like, don't worry about the money. If you just do your passion, the money will come. So I know then this is at a point in time where we're chasing after the money right now. So it's like, it's contradicting. But I tell my co-host GB all the time, like, we just got to enjoy the process. It's like to grow as fast as we're growing. You know what I'm saying? We're blessed.
Oh, that's super dope.
Yeah, so we
I'm
try to.
trying to be like y'all for sure.
No, you right there. All you gotta do is stay with it too. It's gonna happen.
I'm trying to get like that too, because I'm like, whoo, I know Chase would do what you like, do what you love, but that money,
Money,
whoo.
does money make you want? I mean,
You be like, I done fell out with people and lost relationships because they like, look, you got to make some money. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I do know God told me to do this, and yeah.
Yeah, if it makes you happy, it's worth the money. It's worth it. Like
It is.
you can't pay for happiness. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I know people think you buy cars and stuff, but you can buy all that stuff and still be the saddest person.
Miserable.
A lot of
Okay.
people money that's very miserable. So you know what I mean. You gotta
People
try.
get mad at me all the time. I'm like, I got to do a job that I like, that I somewhat like, that I can find some kind of joy in it, because I'm not going to be miserable on nobody's job.
Oh, it
You're
won't.
not gonna get the best of me, and I don't like not giving the best of me. So yeah, you gotta find happiness.
Yeah,
That's a big part. Like you have to have happiness.
and that's hard to communicate. And I know there's a lot of like young rappers and all that, and people be telling them to stop their dreams. I would never say to anybody stop your dreams. You know what I mean? Because there's some music that I think is horrible that's at the top of the charts. So it's like
Okay.
you can't let one person be the judge of what's good, what's not, or how to get there. You know what I
Because
mean?
it's a market for everything, literally.
Absolutely.
Literally. And if nothing else, COVID definitely taught us it's a market for everything. Because I done seen some stuff like, what? People actually want that? People looking for that?
Yeah, but outside the box. I mean, sometimes life forces us to think differently. And I mean, you got companies that everybody's working at home right now. They saving plenty of money and
Enjoying it, okay?
They would
The
have never.
company like, yep, stay home.
You know,
I got a friend right now. She do the mortgages and finances and stuff, and she's like, I don't ever want to go back in.
yeah, and sometimes and a lot of them companies learned that they don't need them there.
We don't need to have these lights and shit on like this all day.
Yeah, not all day. So it's tough, but I mean, it's a lot of learning lessons we got from COVID.
For sure. What have you given up for yourself?
What you mean? Explain.
So, what have you given up in order to chase your dream? So, I know you don't drink or nothing. So, say for instance, you wanted to be a better person, and drinking was one thing that was slowing you down. So, you decided, I'm going to give this up because I want X, Y, Z.
Okay. Well, I think I didn't really give it up for the podcast, but I think once I grew to love the podcast, I didn't go back to it. So when COVID hit, I was coaching a youth organization. I was coaching football. Um,
Mhm.
and then once I started doing the podcast, I realized like I wasn't in a rush to go back and coach. I just was okay with running the organization and doing the business
Mhm.
of it.
Mhm.
So a lot of those hours of just being on the field, which I've been doing since 2005, you know, that my dynamics of my life switched up. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Nice.
I would say I gave that portion up of my life. I'm pretty boring when it comes to like partying and any of that stuff, so I'm never was really out doing too much. But when it came to that, that was probably the biggest piece of what I did on a regular basis that I gave up, or just
Mhm.
didn't do. I don't want to say gave up.
Right, 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 right. Okay, I like that. I like that. What do
Yeah.
you got coming up? Like, where are you going, or what do you have, or what do you want to be coming up?
So for the podcast, we always so it's different. It's unique. So we always have the next event. Like it never ends. So we're always thinking about the next event. So we did AMC movie theater not long ago where we had the podcast in the movie theaters, and that was pretty dope.
Ooh.
I haven't seen a podcast do it yet. I've seen like a lot of independent movies, but um
Yeah,
yeah, Funny Boy Quill was a special guest on that one. So shout out to him for helping.
nice.
Um but we was singing Talk Heavy live on a yacht. I don't want to give up too much. Hold on, I
Oh, make sure I'm there. I better get an invitation.
got you. So we was talking about it, but I try not to do too much on telling it until the flyer's up. Only because I'm always trying to be innovative and be the first one to do it. So, but I know
Yes.
one of the ideas was the Talk Heavy live on the yacht, and they had the music and the indoor part of the yacht, and it's just you
That
know.
would be dope. That'd be
Yeah,
dope
and
as fuck.
I don't know if anybody did it yet, but I know in our area I haven't seen it. So
I haven't seen it either. And I
yeah,
think that would be fucking dope. So y'all need to get to it. And let me know ahead of time
I can plan it. Yeah.
I ain't got my millions yet, so I need to plan for that, but I need to be there.
Hey, listen, they ain't gonna cost no millions. I ain't got my millions yet either. I'm still we, but you believe me, you good. You gonna be there. I will make sure you don't miss it.
For sure, for sure. Okay, okay. Let's see. Who do you want to work with that you have not worked with yet?
Dave Chappelle. I
Ooh.
want Dave Chappelle. I really want Dave Chappelle. I think he's like
Oh my god, that would be freaking
on
awesome.
our show. He fits.
Oh my god, that would be fucking awesome.
He fits so perfect. And then what I like most about him is if you ever listen to him, he's so conscious. So I
Mhm,
think we're
mhm.
very similar. Like if you watch the character and the wildness of me on the show versus what I mean, the intellectual side of it behind the scenes. I think Dave Chappelle he has it. I think he's like super. So
Ooh.
he was
David, you hear that?
they
We need
somebody
you. We
somebody
need you on there.
yes he's
When
like
y'all see this, I need y'all to tag David Chappelle like crazy, okay?
my
Because
top guy. Like if I had to pick anybody, he's number one. Um,
that'd
I
be dope.
don't. When I think about just my role models, some of them who I looked up to, they don't fit probably. Like Master P, I love what Master P did for music, but I don't know if he fits well on Talk Heavy for what we do. You know,
Ooh, I don't know. I ain't seen that side of him. Ooh, I don't know.
not a Master P. So you gotta come on and just be willing to help fans, be wild, and kind of be unique on our show. Our show is different. Everybody, I mean,
No, for sure, for
I
sure.
seen too many
Look, I
podcasts.
love a good show that can talk shit and say the crazy shit. I'm like, dog, I live for this type of stuff. Let me let me and I'm like, dang, should I be watching the comments? I'll be putting on people's stuff because they probably go back to the page. I was like, well, if you watching my show, you just gotta know, like, this is me. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
And it's
I
common.
mean, I want people to know, like, there's more different sides of me. I know how to not to cuss when I don't need to cuss and be professional and be very intellectual,
Look,
but I also like
a
to talk
bitch
shit.
probably so much on our podcast, right? And that's probably how I used to talk in a group of friends. But like, I don't even use the word bitch around women. Like, I just think I think it's tough. Now, I've been known to say like bitch when it refers to like a guy. And I'm like, man, like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? But just I feel like when calling women bitches and stuff, I feel like personally is disrespectful. But I do know the nature of when we're on the podcast and how we used to talk in the crowd. That when we're in that character mode, I use bitch probably more than anybody on the show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just know, like when you get into your element, you get into element. But it's for entertainment as well.
For sure, for sure. And then like, I don't know. I just always been like different. I don't take offense to it. Like I get how it is, disrespectful and could be, but I'm like, that shit don't fit me, so fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people
Everybody ain't that bitch. You know what I'm saying? When
everybody not.
like when you calling it. So we had a conversation, and I do understand that words have power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about it on the show, right? If you nigga is such a strong word, right? Because you'll do anything to a nigga, right? So when you saying something like that, you do like, I fuck that nigga up, I kill that nigga, I kick that nigga down the steps. But if you replace that word with brother, it don't even got the same thing. You like, I fuck that brother up. It don't. You can't.
You're like, oh, wait a minute.
You really can't even say it with the same level of anger because words do got power when they got history attached to it. Being mindful of that, I mean, I get it, but also people gotta be smart. You gotta know if you don't fit that category, then you shouldn't be offended.
Just let it. If it don't apply, let it fly.
Apply, let it fly. You know what I'm saying? So.
But this world's so sensitive. Like I think over the years, this world got real sensitive, especially with this cancel culture, and they just want to cancel everybody for every little thing. But meanwhile, like, come on now.
And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I believe like you should never mistreat any human, no matter what group they are. So that's LGBT, that's trans, that's Jews, that's white. Like I really feel like you're supposed to treat humans a certain way. So, but if we all want to be equal, then the gays got to take the jokes the same way when we throw black jokes out there, when we throw white jokes, Asian, whatever jokes. Like if we're saying this stuff, if you know it's not from a malicious intent and it don't apply to you, like just let it go. And if you don't like. Don't watch the show.
Just turn.
It's not for you. You can say, yo, them guys ignorant. I don't want to listen to it, and that's fine too.
Keep it moving.
But when we interact in the street, I'm always going to be a human and treat humans the way you're supposed to treat. Because I mean, that's the God in us.
And then like just some stuff is like whether it's black, white, gay, straight, bi, whatever. It's like some stuff it has truth in it. You know what I'm saying? And then when you can make a joke out of something that may, you know what I'm saying, be hurtful, you know what I'm saying, kind of turn it up tastefully.
If you watch our show, we both make shows about our grandmas being whores, sleeping with the pastor. We talk about grandma got all them babies. Like we don't hold no peace.
Nobody is off limits.
Nobody's off limits. If
somebody can go for their grandma, you know, like come on, they want their grandma.
Like that, everybody go get it.
Everybody get granny got it. Well, nobody's off limits.
No, nobody's off limits. But hopefully, you know what I mean. Hopefully some of the conversations, like I said, we push cancel culture is made to have the conversation. So my co-host has said something like he would sleep with a fucking autistic chick, right? Or he has. And the special needs community, boy, they had a heart attack. But then what it does though, you gotta bring the conversation up. Are you saying that because a person is autistic that they shouldn't be able to be married or have a relationship with somebody?
What are we talking about now, for real?
Now that you want to see these conversations force you to dig in the conversation. So is it disrespectful because he said he would sleep with an autistic chick, or are we saying that they're different than everybody? Like everybody has to stick to their narratives, or we all got to step back and look and say, let's have the conversation. So but you just gotta look, you gotta really like step back and be mature. I don't even want to say mature because we're so immature on the show at times, but you have to have a certain level of intelligence behind the immaturity because you'll recognize our genre is forbidden comedy.
I love it, and that definitely will draw up because it's like, really, what are you saying? Like, I'm confused. Which one are we not letting them be normal and have the same rights, or what are we doing?
What are we doing? We need to know.
I like that. I like that twist. And y'all should just like stop being so fucking sensitive.
Please, we beg you. Or turn the channel.
Or turn. Because YouTube got this thing where you can click to the next person. If you subscribe, you can unsubscribe.
You'll find that. Be on YouTube.
You can. I think you can like put it where you don't even see no more content from them.
That's it. You can block us, I guess, because it's not for everybody.
It's not. It's not. Like that's why I tell people like you cannot be trying to one please everybody because that's never going to fucking happen. Because what you do for one person to please them is going to mess with somebody else, and then what you try to fix that is going to mess with somebody else, and you're going to be going crazy.
Absolutely.
You're going to be going crazy.
100%.
So, with that being said, let's first of all, because I went this whole show and I did not tell the people what they need to know. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to understand, no matter what you're trying to do, no matter what you're going through, no matter who's doubting you, even if you're doubting yourself, I need you to look at the bottom of the screen and I need you to understand this. And then I need you to replace the word you with I. And then we're going to say it together. We're going to say it together.
I know if I say it.
I just want y'all to say that.
I said, I got this.
I got this.
You got to say it with confidence. You got to be able to believe it.
Do it again. We're going to do it again.
All right.
I got this.
100.
100. You have no choice.
You have no choice.
I always say, like, even when stuff is like down and like at a moment, I may feel like damn, I really don't got this. I don't know. It's so many variables to why it won't work. And then, you know, I just tell myself whether I'm crying, whether I'm mad, whether I'm sad or happy, I'm like, I got this. I got this. And I have no fucking choice.
Yeah, because the thing is, you don't have a choice. And when you don't have a choice, you just got to keep going.
You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep pushing through. Yeah. So what would you give somebody a tip? Give a tip for somebody.
Is this a tip for life, a tip for starting?
Whatever tip you want to give.
All right. So my number one tip that I always tell everybody, and I learned this from my step-out when I was young, right? That your riches come from your health. And that pay everything to be able to see, to be able to walk, like to be able to have the ability to talk. It's people who don't have those capabilities. You know what I'm saying? And if they had $1 trillion, they would give it all up to have your eyesight. So before you go around here feeling like you're not worthy, or you're looking at Instagram and you're looking at people on yachts and Maybachs and different things of that nature, understand that you are rich already. You're just trying to get a couple extra dollars to get your finances up. And in a day that can change. You could get up the next day and do something or meet somebody that'll change that feature. So as long as you got good health, be kind to people. I guess that would be my advice. You know what I mean? Because you never know who's going to be the one to help you, you know, get to where you're trying to get to.
Health is wealth.
100%.
Health is freaking wealth, y'all. Like, we ain't saying like you just got to be perfect, but health is wealth. Like, take care of your health. Take some kind of step to be a better you from the inside out. Because in order to, like, you don't want to get to a point where you have those millions of dollars and you can't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's not going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And then whatever you have, whether you have one arm, one eye, be grateful for what you have, because there's somebody out there that wish
they had one.
Have that.
That's a fact.
And I've seen people with no arms, no legs, doing stuff, moving stuff,
right,
cooking, doing all kinds of stuff. And I was like, oh, hell no, I can't complain about nothing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It proves to you if you want something done, you can do it. Like, that's just not some stuff you tell kids. Oh, you can always be what you want. No, you can really do it. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But if you put your mind to it, you got a good chance of being in the area.
And keep trying. You got to keep trying. Because one thing we do know, if you don't try, you ain't going to get it.
No doubt.
And you only fail if you give up.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Thank you for coming. I need you to give the people your handles. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen, but tell them like where they can find you at, how they can book you. I don't know if they can book you or if they want to be on the show or what they got to do. All
right. So I'm going to say, I don't even like to put a lot of my personal stuff out because it's more about the group. So if you trying to be interested in the podcast, it's Talk Heavy Podcast on IG, Instagram, the email and stuff she has on the screen. I'm Slice Maximus. And just know, you know, you always need a team around you. You can't do it by yourself. So I'll say, if you're trying to get with the Talk Heavy Podcast, inbox us on Instagram or any of the platforms you find us, or shoot the email. And we don't go by popularity. If you're dope, we tell everybody just be dope. If you dope, you can get on the podcast. So
yeah, y'all. If y'all dope, y'all can be on the podcast.
That's simple.
Yeah. I mean, not too many of us making it that easy and that simple. You dope.
That simple.
Be on the podcast, y'all. I appreciate you for real, because
honor. Thank you so much.
Because like you really did like respond, and like I came from seeing them on Instagram, y'all.
Yeah, and you hear it all the time. Like, so people will be like, "Well, you can't do these shows, or you shouldn't do this." Man, I don't listen to that. I like energy, and your energy was dope, and I'm glad you invited me. It's an honor for me to be here.
I appreciate it. So our song that started, that was My Year from Rosemary Bay. She's super dope. She's out of Detroit. And she was nice enough to let me use her song from the beginning. And I got a song from her at the end.
Mm-hmm. What's the name again? Hold on. What's the name again? Say it again.
Rosemary Bay.
I'm going to check you out, Rosemary Bay. I got to hear this.
Yeah, she's super dope. And so we're going to vibe out. This is our year. And we about to be booked and busy. So that's the next song, Booked and Busy.
And you make sure you contact me. We got to continue to collab, connect, and grow together.
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely going to be in touch because, like I said, I genuinely like the show. I like your energy. Mm-hmm. We locked in.
We locked in.
Okay, so let's vibe on out. Y'all have a good one.
New life, I've been out the bed before dawn. Hit her knees, said a prayer on the sun. Wake the kids to their favorite song. Oh man, thinks she does no wrong. She got a brand new lifestyle. Made a wrong turn, but she finally got it right now. Standing on a rock, she ain't even got to fight now. Walking in the light, so her future's looking bright now. I can't forget about you. Time to put in work, you do what you do. Raising your kids so you going to school. Got the word up on your shoulders and you make it look cool. And girl, I'm proud of you. Who knew you had all that side of you? You keep it 100, that's how I ride with you. We gon' live our best life till our time is up. Girl, around the world, want you to know you're beautiful. Oh girl, around the world, let them know you're about to blow, you're about to blow up. She booked and busy, booked and busy. Got plans all over the city. Itinerary make you dizzy. When you see that girl, better know she pretty and gritty. She booked and busy. Got plans all over the city. Itinerary make you dizzy. When you see that girl, better know she pretty and gritty. To go up, I had to grow up. And once I growed up, I got my know up. Then came to glow up. Now that I glowed up, watch me blow up. Now I can do this with my eyes closed. Tiptoe through the snakes, that's a lot of foes. Walking in God's favor, that's a lot of dough. Say a prayer for my haters, that's a lot of growth. New life, who this? Come around me, better be about your biz. When you come around me, better be about your chill. I survive too much, man, it is what it is. Is you coming or not? Don't need a lot, girl, just bring what you got. We gotta cook while the fire is hot. Time is just beating, and we ain't gon' stop. Girl, around the world, no time to waste. Let's start today. Oh girl, around the world, your time has come. Yes, you're the one. You're the only one. If you don't do it, then it ain't getting done. Thank God. Thank God, you're the only one. You're the only one. She booked and busy. Ooh. If you ain't doing it, I ain't getting done. She booked and busy.